this is way packed with more special features and packed with much more detail. I gotta say, this can easily be a new centerpiece in my collection. Welcome everyone from What's on the Table. This is Prof G and you are watching another episode of Graded, the show where we're not just going to unbox or review a particular statue, collectible, or figure. We are actually going to give it a grade at the end of each video. So for this episode, we are going to grade the 1/6 scale 1989 Batmobile by Jazzinc Dioramas. Now before we begin, let me just set the tone of this video by saying that when this was announced by Jazzinc, I didn't hesitate pulling the trigger as I have already purchased 4 other vehicles from them and I was really satisfied. I have actually graded the 1996 Batmobile already, so if you want to check that out as well, I am going to include that link at the end of this video. But this 1989 Batmobile is arguably the most popular Batmobile design, and believe it or not, I would say that this is probably one of the items Jazzinc experienced a lot of challenges. I will explain that more in just a bit. Now originally I was gonna do a comparison with the Hot Toys 1989 Batmobile, but then again I realized, what's the point? We all know this is going to be much better, especially in terms of scale and accuracy, so I just threw that idea down the drain and decided to focus on this piece as it is. So this is no longer going to be a comparison with Hot Toys. As you can see in front of you, you have this massive box for the 1989 Batmobile, and again, I got lucky. Lucky enough that I got this without any sort of damage whatsoever. Good looking box, and I am gonna show you later that this is probably the best that Jazzinc packaged their vehicle, because upon opening this has to be the most annoyingly overly secured piece ever delivered. That's not me complaining about the way Jazzinc did their packaging. I mean, huge props to them. It's just next level secured. So once you get it out of the art box, you have this first Velcro strap protecting the user manual, and you are greeted with 3 very secure and well-taped clamshells. This one has the remote, the bat disc for the projectile launcher, you got the emblems that will be used to stick on the wheels of the Batmobile, the magnets that's going to be used to get some parts out, the covers for the cannons, and a syringe for the water vapor effect. Clamshell number 2 has the cover for the compartment, the die-cast steering wheel, which was kind of a good surprise if you ask me, and a universal adapter just in case you don't have one at home. And clamshell number 3, you have this infamous shin breakers and the power supply. Not bad, not bad. You got a lot of accessories there. Oh, and by the way, I forgot, you also have this rotating platform, kind of like a lazy Susan of sorts, so you can display it and admire it in all directions. If you watch the 1989 Batman, you would know that this is an important accessory for this model. But you know, I wish all vehicles had this because it really is a good addition. See, by now, just like me, when you get to this stage, you are probably so excited that you are gonna be able to pull out the Batmobile and start the whole assembly, right? Wrong. Jazzinc says you gotta freaking earn it, so we spent a good 15 minutes removing those thick nylon cables that's preventing you to pull the vehicle and start admiring it. If you've gotten yours, you know what I'm talking about, and if you're about to get yours, beware, get a knife or something sharp, you're gonna need it. Once you get that out, you have the ginormous 1989 Batmobile by Jazzinc Dioramas. So without further ado, let's assemble this and check out this beautiful vehicle. My collector friends, this is the 1989 Batmobile by Jazzinc Dioramas. Now remember, Jazzinc said that this is the most accurate 1989 Batmobile in terms of scale, details, and accessories. And it actually came into a point while I was doing the assembly where I said, really? They included this? But why though? Then I realized I was part of the community that went all in and said, let's make the most accurate 1989 Batmobile ever. So I cannot complain. They gave us what we asked for, and yes, details and accessories wise, I think what could have been added was added. Good job. So in terms of scale and accuracy, I believe it. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's not gonna be hard to believe as we all know how Hot Toys produce theirs, but that's beside the point. We are not here to compare it with Hot Toys, we are here to grade this vehicle by Jazzinc. Let's begin. First, the accessories. Now usually when we ask for something to be accurate as possible, we kinda overlook the presence of the accessories. Like this one for example. You have the bat discs, which were actually made out of metal. Cool, right? I mean, you're not gonna be able to see it most of the time as it's hidden inside the vehicle, but still, pretty awesome. Or how about this grapple hook that is launched at the side of the vehicle? This tiny piece right here is inserted at this small hole of a compartment. Again, you won't be able to see it, but we demanded accuracy and we got it. The steering wheel. It's made out of metal. Again, we won't be able to see it, but Jazzinc gave us a metal steering wheel. Those are actually the highlights in terms of accessories. A lot of people are saying this was a miss, but actually I wouldn't go as far as saying that it was a miss. And I'm talking about these bat emblems that are supposed to be attached on the wheels. Now it was supposed to be magnetic, but Jazzinc and company said maybe it needs a little bit more hold, so they gave us those 3M double-sided tapes. Kinda useful. It's actually fine as we don't want those emblems getting lost by accident. But speaking of double-sided tapes, you also have those at the back where you are supposed to attach the exhaust pipes. Initially, those have placeholders for pegs, but Jazzinc still included double-sided tapes just in case you want it to be more secure. Now, what I just noticed on mine was that even though it was already snapped into place, it wasn't the best fit as it has a little bit of a wiggle. That's probably why they added the double-sided tape, so, no problem at all. Second, the body. Alright, I know you've heard it many times before, but this body was meant to be the most accurate 1989 Batmobile out there in terms of scale and detail. If I'm not mistaken, the Hot Toys one was way shorter on both length and width, and don't get me started with the actual shape of the vehicle. For example, this drooping nose at the front of the vehicle was one of the primary details Yoast noticed when they were doing the 3D model of the vehicle. I actually missed that detail when I got the Hot Toys one. But I'm glad that Jazzinc noticed it and gave us an accurate one. How about the headlights? Apparently, these are Honda Civic headlights that were used and they were able to shape it as accurately as could be. How about those brake lights or tail lights? Those are Ferrari taillights from the 308 and 365 models. And how about these cannons at the front of the vehicle that you have to use the magnet provided to be able to lift up those covers? Now, I remember some people had a problem with the cannons staying up, but thankfully on my version we didn't get those problems. Now I think my only concern is that these very strong magnets, which is used to lift those gun covers, it's kinda scary. My worry is that it might eventually and inevitably scratch that good looking glossy paint job on that section, so you gotta be careful when using it. Also, I am really digging these rubber tires they gave us for the Batmobile. So just imagine scaling down real car tires, you're going to get this. The labels, the ridges, the texture, everything. And the fact that they gave us a rotating platform so this won't warp being static on the surface, pretty good move. Lastly, the overall shape of the body. It just looks way different from the previous 1/6 scale 1989 Batmobile I owned. Now that is not a knock on the Hot Toys version, but sometimes it's kinda hard not to compare it as before when I had my Hot Toys 1989 Batmobile, I was a proud collector for having such a prestige piece. At that time, it was a prestige piece, but now, we got something better. Way better in my opinion. Third, the paint job. Now this is where it gets tricky and exciting. I think the accurate glossy paint job of the vehicle is just magnificent. From the blacks to the gunmetal grays, even the subtle shading of rust that you will see at the pipes located at the sides of the vehicle. But this is one drawback, and I'm not blaming Jazzinc for this. This glossy paint job and the effect it gives the vehicle, it just loves my fingerprints. Now if you noticed while I was doing the assembly a while ago, I have the white piece of fabric that is usually used to clean your reading glasses or sunglasses, as I had to always wipe my fingerprints. I am at that point where I just want to do this assembly and never touch it again, because you will really see those fingerprints and even dust speck easily on this vehicle. Even the tiniest scratch will be visible, so you gotta be careful in handling this Batmobile. Last but not the least, the special features that comes with it that are remote activated. Now before we start drooling about those special effects Yoast gave us, I had this dumb moment because I just couldn't understand why we have a screwdriver. Now I thought it was used to open the remote, right? Screwdriver plus you see some screws over there. That's probably where it goes, right? Wrong, it was a prank. You don't need the screwdriver to open the remote and put the battery in. I just realized it when I saw the screw that you see at the side of the remote was actually part of the mold. So yeah, pretty dumb, right? Moving on, I'm not really gonna go through the whole features for the remote control. I am just gonna show you what it does. Plain and simple, it lights up everything that needs to be lit up in the vehicle. Front lights, tail lights, the dashboard, spinning turbine motors, which was a really cool addition to the piece. You know, I wasn't really expecting that Jazzinc was gonna do this, but hey, thank you Jazzinc team. The lights at the exhaust and thrusters, the smoke that comes out of the thrusters. Now this is why you have a syringe so you can put some water at the back part of the vehicle. And of course, the built-in sound effects, which in my opinion is a good addition but not something I'm going to be using most of the time. All in all, this 1989 Batmobile by Jazzinc is a beauty. Just imagine, we got the 1996 Batmobile of almost the same price point, almost, but the features we got out of this one is way more. I mean, you can also compare it to the 2022 Batmobile version and still, we got more special features on this one. So yeah, if you're gonna ask me if it's worth the upgrade for your 1/6 collection, I would say definitely yes. Now, is it perfect? As I've said on many occasions, there is no such thing as a perfect collectible. We will either see something that bothers us or probably some people would ask for more features. But in my case, my brutal and honest opinion, this is worth every buck. Having said that, for this 1989 Batmobile, I am going to give it a grade of 8.9. Now, unlike the 1996, this is way packed with more special features and packed with much more detail. The light-up features, the overly packed details on the accessories and parts, the wheels, the body, and everything else. I gotta say, this can easily be a new centerpiece in my collection. Thanks guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do me a solid and click on the like and subscribe, or just give me a shout in the comment section below. If you have a different grade you would want to give this 1989 Batmobile by Jazzinc, please let me know in the comment section below. Thanks again everyone, this is Prof G and you just watched another episode of Graded. See you all on the next one.